your forecast first. Sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday to you. So we are noticing some clouds, and thankfully we got some good initial rain throughout the afternoon throughout yesterday evening and last night, too. Some of that's moving on out of here, but we still got some light shower activity. That's going to be around for today as well. As far as your temperatures, upper 60s and lower 70s. We're going to get those numbers back up around maybe the 80-degree mark by the time we head into the afternoon. Of course, a little more sunshine will help with that effort, but overall, today not going to be quite as rainy as yesterday, and tomorrow probably looks like it's going to be a bit drier, too, for us. We'll talk about that, plus the cool down that we have for Friday coming up. WCI 3 News starts now.
You're watching your local news leader. This is The Morning Show on WCIA 3 News.
Got a lot of questions, I guess, as a mom. Like, I had just canceled my daycare.
Well, the sudden closure of Head Start programs in several counties is putting parents in a real bind. They're now forced to make last-minute child care plans. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm McLeod Hageman.
And I'm Christy Batista. The federal government denied grant money for East Central Illinois Community Action Agency.
And that means Head Start programs in Vermilion, Ford, and Iroquois counties are now canceled effective immediately. This is a Target 3 investigation. Employees and parents say they were given no advance notice this was happening. All employees at these Head Starts have been let go, and the doors are now closed. The nonprofit operates in Westville, Danville, Hoopeston, Watseka, Gilman, Paxton, and Gibson City. After reviewing the agency's finances, the government found problems that were never fixed, so the money was discontinued. Parents who enrolled their kids in Head Start say there was no communication. The programs were in jeopardy.
I am in a tough situation. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I just have, a few days to figure it out. And so I think that's what's most disturbing is the lack of, information, I still have yet to be contacted.
And we are investigating further into what caused the grant money to be denied.
2 U of I students and an entire fraternity, Pi Kappa Phi, are suspended for breaking the university's COVID-19 safety rules. We told you about this yesterday on the morning show, but we are now learning more. One student hosted a party, so did the fraternity. The other student violated quarantine. On top of that, about 100 other students are being disciplined for their behavior over the weekend. Health district leaders say people need to remember why it's so important to follow orders.
The reason for doing isolation and quarantine is because we know this person is a confirmed positive or a confirmed exposure, and they are infectious.
University will get involved if students continuously violate guidelines.
And taking a look at the latest coronavirus numbers, there are nearly 1,500 new cases statewide. That brings the total number of infections to more than 236,000. 39 more people have died, including several in central Illinois. The state has seen more than 8,000 COVID-19 related deaths.
Early on, it's going to be a few sprinkles out there for many of us. Of course, a lot of the streets and the roads are still going to be wet from the rain that we had throughout the overnight and yesterday. Roofy Dog Net Weather Camera Network still looking kind of gloomy, too, if you can tell. Those clouds are still out there for us as we start off this morning. Storm Tracker Doppler, not a whole lot really showing up as of right now, and probably not going to be as much as we go later into the day either. We will see a slight little uptick in some of this moisture that's going to be moving along with a frontal boundary that will start to shift our winds back out of the northwest, and that's going to help to cool things down. Not so much so heading into tomorrow, but more so into heading into the day on Friday as we'll get that cool air to start to settle on in. But for today, we'll still keep some light shower activity kind of here and there on the way for us. Upper 60s and lower 70s for your morning temperatures. As far as the rain chances, they are going to be isolated. Should it be too much, then we'll see clearing skies late into the day. More sunshine for your Thursday, and a cooler Friday will be shaping up for us too, as we'll get more of those temperatures back down into the 70s or highs. More on that here coming up in a bit. Mac.
All right, thank you, Adam. Well, new this morning, a two-car crash happened on Neal Street near the exit ramp of Interstate 74. Crews got to the scene just after 3:30 this morning. We're working to learn whether anyone was hurt, and we will continue to update you as we learn more information. Some people in Decatur want to know what the city is going to be doing to stop gun violence after 2 shootings in less than 24 hours.
Both happened on South Webster Street. 4 people were taken to the hospital. There have been 9 shootings, though, since August 17th. 2 of those were deadly. City council members decided they wouldn't make cuts to the budget for the first responders because of the violence.
I'm sad for the city as a whole. And we definitely need highly trained, skilled individuals to respond to these crimes and other crimes that we're experiencing in the city.
And we are working to learn how those shooting victims are doing now.
Well, 10 men were charged with attempted enticement of a child. All of them are accused of using social media to talk to who they believe were children to engage in sexual activity. Now, all of the cases are separate, and most of the men are actually from Springfield. They all face at least 10 years in prison and could even serve life if convicted.
Urbana police are investigating reports of several women who were groped. Police say it's happened 19 times since last April. About 2/3 were on or near campus, and almost all of the women were alone when it happened. Police are now asking any potential victims or witnesses to come forward. We now have an update this morning. A man is dead after his car rolled over on northbound 57.
That interstate was briefly shut down after the crash. It happened on I-57 near the Monticello Road exit in Champaign County. 62-year-old John Wilson died unseen. The interstate was later opened to one lane while crews worked in that area. An autopsy is set for later today.
We have a follow-up from Iroquois County now. Dozens of protesters gathered outside of the jail. They rallied for answers in the deaths of 2 inmates. 24-year-old Andre Maiden and 47-year-old Jason Fancher were both found unresponsive. The autopsies in both cases ruled out physical injury as causes of death, but we are waiting for toxicology results to learn more. Maiden's family says he wasn't given the medical help he needed.
This stuff has happened where you're supposed to be safe. More so safe than dead. That hurts a lot because he's explained to numerous family members that he's mistreated.
And neither the sheriff's office nor state police have commented on the investigations.
Well, black lawmakers in Illinois are calling for an end to systemic racism. The Black Caucus and Black Lives Matter activists say the issues of systemic racism go beyond police encounters with black residents. The Senate committee held the first of many discussions examining the role of police and the use of force. However, the Black Caucus highlighted other areas in society. They held their press conference in Chicago, but responded to calls from local activists in Springfield.
I think we really have to work on the mindset and the culture that is within police departments. Sometimes it appears that there is a fear of black people in general, even if we're not doing anything that should be considered an act of aggression or anything like that. If you just have a general basis of you fear them more, you're more likely to react negatively.
Expert witnesses at a special Senate committee hearing called for a tracking database to watch the police use of force, not only deadly force. Well, U of I researchers are talking about bringing a micronuclear reactor to campus.
It would be used to heat buildings and reduce the campus's use of fossil fuels. The exact location isn't set, but faculty members say it should be near the Abbott power plant. The U of I's Institute for Sustainability, Energy, and Environment will be hosting a virtual conversation about this. That talk is scheduled for a week from tomorrow.
Well, some people in Sydney are worried about the solar farm headed to town because it'll be the biggest one in the state. Ted Hartke has lived in Sydney for about 5 years. He has a long list of reasons why a solar farm shouldn't be built there. County leaders have made rules that solar farms have to follow in response to concerns that people have raised. But Hartke says that's not enough.
The solar panels do contain some chemicals and other toxic ingredients, which, if they are damaged in a storm, those will leach out.
And some of the county's conditions include ways to help with sound coming from the farm, including requirements for how the panels are disposed. Well, after sitting silent for a couple weeks, the Illini practice fields had some action.
Coming up in sports, we look to what's next for the football team. We'll be right back.